You missed the casual memo.
I know. Man, I got busy as hell. I know. I went from work to clean to leave the house because every time. The first time it was just by me. I was working at home, and their appointment was at 12. My realtor calls me like at 11:10. They're like, "Hey, they want to get there earlier, like 11:30." I'm like, "All right, that's fine." So I scramble to turn on all the lights and clean and everything. And they show up like 11:17. I'm like, what the hell? So I'm like, you're not supposed to be in the house. And
Yeah.
so I left, and they're like saying hi to me, like, hey, how are you? I'm like, no, you guys go. I'm leaving.
I don't understand why you have to get kicked out of your house that you're trying to get rid of.
You're not supposed to be in it.
That's an odd way of handling that.
Well, what if they see you in the house and they really want you to come with the house?
Well, I think actually part of the thinking is that you don't want them to see who lives in the house, just in case there's any bias or anything.
Why, you think they're gonna be racist and not buy it?
Some people will.
That's fair.
Research says that some people absolutely will not buy a house if they're racist against somebody.
Well, yeah. Can understand if you're a racist, you won't buy it.
All right.
Wow.
Thanks for the 200 followers we lost.
Where's Jake's inappropriate joke screen on?
Yeah. I'm gonna get one today. A podcast about bourbon and the ones who drink it. This is Bourbon Matters. Welcome to Bourbon Matters. I'm Jake.
I'm Dan.
I'm Roberto Tex PDO.
And today we are coming almost full circle back to Kentucky Owl's Wiseman, but today we're trying the rye rather than the bourbon. I think the bourbon was episode 3, 2.
It was like 3 or 4.
If it's full circle, does that mean this is our last one?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Dan's been looking for an out for like 6 months.
Dan's done with this. Like, gosh dang it. Didn't we try this though in one of the episodes?
No, we never had this yet.
We did the Wiseman. We did that in episode 3.
Yeah,
actually.
we did the bourbon.
We did the bourbon, which is
but
like,
the rye came out like maybe
this
a month
spring,
or two ago.
April.
Yeah, but I didn't see it until
yeah,
like July.
That's why I was wondering, because I remember it came out like later in the year, but maybe earlier in the year. Yeah.
The bourbon came out September of 21, and the rye came out this spring.
I just saw it at Benny's.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
because Kentucky Owl Rye is like up there.
Kentucky
It's one of my
Owl's
favorites.
Rye is great. So which one did we try that was 100% rye?
That was the piggyback.
That
was
was
a
a
whistle
piggyback.
pig.
That was Whistle Pig. Okay, it wasn't Wiseman. That's why. That's why I was confusing them.
I get it. Pigs and owls are very similar.
Yeah.
The bottle was similar.
I don't think so.
Oh, I know it wasn't. Because one label's like blue or something, and right?
Piggyback's black.
Yeah, it's like black or blue or something. Yeah. Anyway, I'm excited to try this because it does have really good reviews.
Yeah.
We did a blind tasting last night of all toasted whiskeys. What were your guys' thoughts on the overall toasted whiskeys?
So it was interesting to learn that almost all barrels are actually toasted first before they get charred. And what it does is it releases a lot of the sugars that are in the wood.
Almost like tannins.
Yeah, tannins, and he said there was something else that I can't remember what it's called.
Yep.
But it kind of forces those out to the surface of the wood, and then when they char it, it kind of like caramelizes all that.
Yep.
So that's why you get such good like vanilla caramel notes in bourbon.
Toasted bourbon.
Typically.
Yeah.
And like he said that there's very few that just char barrels. He said a lot of it's in Texas exclusively.
Because they like to go bold.
Because it's very bold flavors. So yeah, that was kind of interesting. So what did we tried? 2 Castle and Key Restoration Ryes, the batch 2 and batch 3, both of which were pretty good. We have the batch 2. And I think we tried the batch 2 on the show, on the Castle and Key episode.
That was really good.
I have the batch 3 also hidden back there somewhere, which I hadn't tried until the tasting last night. Then we tried the Elijah Craig toasted versus the Basil Hayden toasted, which I picked the Basil Hayden, surprisingly. We all did, didn't we?
I think we all did, yeah.
Yeah. Which is a little surprising, but there was something on the finish of the Elijah that was like a little off-putting.
A little bitter.
It was a little bitter. It wasn't like horrible. Like I would have, if that was like a standalone, I would have been like, this is great. But comparing the two, the basil was like way sweeter and had a much more like
more caramel and
warm
vanilla.
kind of like
I agree with that.
flavor profile, and very like smooth, and
I agree with that.
Yeah. Which another interesting note on the basil is that they replaced the rye content with brown rice in the mash bill, which is
so weird.
Which is, when we tasted that one, I actually thought it was a Scotch at first.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering
like
if the rice
or
was
something.
adding that like cereal
Like
kind
the
of
barley
note.
taste. Yep.
But yeah, then the more you drink it, the more you're like, this is definitely a bourbon because it's very sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's another interesting fact.
I love that. The fact about the rice, the brown rice, I think that was good.
Yeah, and basil's normally a high rye mash bill, so it was like 27% brown rice.
Yeah,
which is a lot.
Yeah,
like it probably the only brown rice whiskey.
I think he said it's the only one that he knows of, right?
Yeah.
Can I tell you a lie? I've been living for a while.
Sure.
Oh man.
So there's been a story.
You don't like rye?
Yeah. Where to start?
There's been a story we've kind of had going intermittently that goes back to when I asked Sam about the Elijah Craig toasted barrel.
Yeah.
And then he gave it to me and I traded it to you because you really wanted it.
Yeah.
I really didn't want it because I tried it the previous year in Cleveland after it first came out and I did not like it.
Oh, really? So you hustled me for, what did I give you?
The larceny barrel.
Oh.
But
it's a fair trade.
It's fine.
But it was funny because as soon as I found out that I picked basil toasted over Elijah Craig toasted, I'm like, that makes sense because when I tried it, I did not like it.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I'm with you. Actually, what you mentioned, side by side, definitely prefer the basil toasted. That was really good. And I did notice and taste the bitterness of the finish of the Elijah Craig.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've had toasted before and I like it. So standalone, I would not think twice about it, but side by side makes
I mean,
a
it's like eating like a piece of cake and then drinking like a dark roast.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's stark.
Yeah, it's a big difference. Yeah. It's a good blind tasting though.
Then what was the last?
Nulu and Penelope.
Yeah, Nulu toasted and Penelope toasted, which we did an episode on the Penelope toasted up there, which is the Chicago something or other.
No, so there's a Chicago Select, but they did the summertime.
It was the summertime last night.
Yeah.
Ours is the Chicago, right? I think.
Yeah.
I can't read it. It's behind me.
My overall thought, I didn't enjoy the toasteds as much as I enjoy the normal blind tasting nights.
Yeah, I thought they were all good. The Restoration Rye is fantastic.
Yeah, it was.
Like across the board.
That was great.
Which we tried.
Batch 1.
Yeah, we tried
2022
batch 1 for 2022, which is coming out soon, which is pretty good. We tried the Gold Eagle Restoration Rye pick, which I had and I hadn't opened yet, and like, wow, is it pretty phenomenal. So yeah, that was nice because then that really confirmed that I should get a second bottle.
Oh yeah. That batch 1, that 2022 batch 1 was so great. That was so sweet.
Jake was saying that as they were getting cases of the Gold Eagle Restoration Rye pick.
Yeah.
He was like setting some aside for himself
Yeah,
because
he's
he
like,
liked it so
I have
much.
about 30 bottles in my garage, and
Yeah.
I figure I'd probably sell them at some point. Yeah.
But
it
then
was-
so he brought 2 cases to the tasting last night
Yeah.
to sell. So that was good to see those again. Cause,
that was good. And then he was nice enough to bring 11 bottles of Elijah Craig Toasted,
yeah.
which are difficult to find, and sell them to the group. That was
Ended
nice.
up giving mine away.
Yeah, this
Like-
guy, the guy behind you really wanted it.
We were like waiting for a
Yeah.
while because like Jake asked how many people want to buy it, and only like 5
Only
people
like 5 or
raised their
6,
hands.
yeah.
So we were just kind of hanging out, seeing if anybody was going to take the last one, and no one really made a move. So I was like, all right, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And as we were walking away, some guy was
Yeah.
like, "Oh man, they're all
I was
gone."
like, I really want one, and then
And Jenna was like, "Did you hear that guy? He said that he really wanted one." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, all right."
yeah, fine. Fine.
So I was like, "Hey, you want this?
Fine, I'll
I
go to
have one
Sam.
at home. You know, you can take this one."
and Sam can get them pretty quick
Yeah, he didn't seem to
for
have,
the clientele.
yeah,
I think so. Yeah. It was a good blind tasting. I enjoyed it. You know, Dan. It was fun to watch Dan at a blind tasting because he's like, he would go up to somebody and say, guy, girl, guy. That's how he tasted. Yeah, it was a different kind of tasting, but it was fun to watch. This is a guy. Okay, next.
Cowboys are
Oh,
a great team. No! Where's the crickets? There it is. Found it.
Guy. Guy. I had fun. Gold Eagle is a good place.
Yep.
yeah. And then what next week we're doing the bottled and bond blind, which will be a good one. And then we're going to Kentucky.
Then we'll go to Kentucky.
The Kentucky Trail is like so called.
We're going to go to the Kentucky Trail, which, by the way, we missed September 15th, the week after. Is it the week after or the week, maybe 2 weeks after? But is the Bourbon Festival. In
Yeah, I saw that. I was kind of
Yeah.
pissed.
Well,
But
yeah,
it's all right.
at the same time, I mean, it's a festival just like anything else. There's music, there's bourbon.
Yeah.
You know, we're actually going to the distilleries.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
know?
I'd rather go to the distilleries, but like it would have been cool to go that maybe next year.
That would have been cool. Because I've heard it's a nice time. And last year when we went, it was almost exactly the same time of year, like right before my birthday, which is
Yeah.
like 15. And they had the Bourbon Festival that week after, which it was actually really hard to find lodging because people were going in like a week before.
Oh.
So that was nice that we found this Airbnb a week before the festival.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
Yeah. So yeah.
So I'm kind of a Scrooge when it comes to festivals because I hate a bazillion and one people being all there doing the exact same thing.
Me too.
And it just like the last one I went to a while ago was in New Glarus, Wisconsin for the Bacon Beer and Cheese Festival, which sounds amazing, but then everywhere there's just a massive line to get anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're just
yeah.
in line
And
the
you're
whole
like,
time.
God, I'm spending more time. Like my whole thought was, man, I'm gonna go. I think after like 3 hours, we went to
Yeah.
a bar and just sat down at a bar and got drunk. It's like
Yeah.
that was way more fun.
Yeah. I remember the bands are gonna have this year at the
At the
Bourbon Festival are
Stapleton's
good.
there.
Yeah, Chris Stapleton.
Kings of Leon is there.
Yeah.
I forget who. There's some good names in
Yeah, I
there.
can't remember who else, but there was like a pretty good lineup.
Only the reason how I found that is because my work is actually having a presence there, a booth.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at the Bourbon
Oh,
Festival.
interesting.
Yeah, and it's actually going to be I don't know what they're going to call it, but in essence, it's a sober station, like to promote what they're exactly. So what they're trying to promote is that, you know, if you're in recovery, because obviously there's a lot of alcoholics because of bourbon, but if you're in recovery, it's to prove that you can go to a festival and have fun and you don't have to get drunk. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's
Are
a
you
good-
also going to be passing out Gideon's Bibles there?
Yeah, exactly. It's a cool concept. You know, we're gonna have a climbing walls and who knows what. But again, it's to prove a point that if you're in recovery and your friends really want to go, you can go and still have a good time and
Yeah.
enjoy the festival.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know. I was when they told me about it, I'm like,
okay.
that does not make sense.
Roberto, here's how the conversation goes. Roberto, we're gonna have a booth at Bourbon Fest. I'll go. It's a sober booth. I'm busy.
No, let me check my calendar again. Yeah, that's pretty funny. So anyway,
Hey, let's jump into
what are we tasting?
the whiskey.
And I mean that because I've been drinking this for like 10 minutes now.
Hey, we've already talked about Kentucky Owl a little bit.
Yeah. So this is Kentucky Owl Wiseman. Roberto, who is Kentucky Owl owned by? It's owned by your favorite company.
Kentucky Owl is owned by my favorite company.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I blanking on this?
Sazerac?
No.
It's Wiseman. but
Bardstown?
it's,
No.
No.
It's distilled by Bardstown, but it's not.
Yeah, shoot, man.
Who the company that owns it?
Yeah, it's Stoli.
There you go.
Oh,
Stoli
yeah, you're right.
owns Kentucky Owl.
Yeah.
So this is a Stoli product
Yeah.
for all your hatred.
We haven't hated on Stoli
We
since like
haven't
episode
hated.
5.
That was
Yeah.
just you.
I haven't hated on Stoli since like episode 5. Man, the other day I went to the bathroom like at 3 in the morning. You know, you got to go to the bathroom, you get up.
It happens
I was
when you get old.
Am I pissing Stoli? Like it smelled like Stoli. That's how bad it is. I did not drink it. I did not try it.
It's an oldie but a goodie.
The wise man, so like Jake said, we did the bourbon way back.
We won't be able to tag Stoli in this podcast. Anyway, over to you.
We did the wise man bourbon really early because it first came out, and again, this came out not too long ago. It is distilled by Bardstown, and Kentucky Owl. A lot of their bottles are normally on the more expensive side, like their majority of them are over $100 bottles.
Yeah.
When they came out with Wiseman, that was their more affordable line. So the bourbon and the rye both run around $60, which is way less than their normal Kentucky Owl, but at the same time, way less or still more expensive than
Most
whiskey.
things, yeah.
$60 is higher on the end. This is a straight whiskey. They don't put an age statement on it, but since it's a straight whiskey, we know it's at least 4 years old. Proof on this one is just over 100 at 100.8. The mash bill on this is 95% rye, 5% malted barley.
Oh, okay, so that's the MGP mash bill.
Yes. And that's
It smells like that mash bill.
It does, yeah.
Well, we'll get into that in a second.
but that's kind of the main points of this one. Like I said, we talked about Kentucky Owl a little bit more back in episode 3. So if you're interested in learning more about the Kentucky Owl, go back and give that a listen as well. But it's kind of their venture into being a little bit cheaper, a little bit more affordable. The master distiller on this, I forget his name, but the ones that he's done for Kentucky Owl are the Wiseman series, and he is also the one that did the St. Patty's Day
Okay.
Okay, that's good.
bourbon as well. So those are the two.
Master blender John Rhea.
Yeah, I guess blender, not distiller.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. So he's the one that's done this and the.
because it's still by Bardstown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the main points on it. This is a high rye because it's a straight rye, so it's basically all rye.
Yeah.
95%, right?
95.
Yeah.
Like I said, this one smells like the MGP mash bill is 95% rye, 5% malted barley, and the ones that we've tried have all been very floral and like light on the nose.
Mhm.
And this
Yeah.
one's definitely in that same vein.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean on the nose, I like it. I think it's a warm. I don't know how to describe it.
It's like
a warm.
it's almost like fresh herbs and
herbal.
like
yes.
like tea or something.
It reminds me of like when I put like chamomile essential oils in my diffuser. That's what it smells like. I have a diffuser in my home office all day, which is nice. Sometimes I change it. Eucalyptus, chamomile, lavender. I'm a sophisticated guy. I smell butterscotch in this. I smell caramel.
I get the caramel. pretty
Definitely
strong.
vanilla. It just has a warm smell. You know, on the nose, it's warm. It warms you like for the fall. This would be amazing to sit out on the patio in the fall with a nice cool temperature.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it smells like spring, but I think it's more fall.
Yeah, I get a lot of fall in this. It's not like at some point maybe I smell a little bit of pumpkin. I don't know.
I don't get too much fall, but I get a lot of autumn.
Oh, autumn is probably better actually. They're just at different times of year. Again, it gives me a nice warm feeling on the nose, and again, it's like butterscotch, caramel, cinnamon, a little bit of cinnamon, and then it smells like cereal. And I don't know if that's because of the 95% rye. I don't know. It's I like it on the nose. I would give it. We're not rating bourbons, but
We can
enjoy
throw
this.
a number out there.
I enjoy. Well, the number was in my mind because at the blind tastings and the
Yeah.
tastings at Gold Eagle, we rate everything from 0 to 5. I really enjoy the nose on this one. The ethanol is not too overpowering, which
No.
is really nice. Like I enjoy smelling it. It's not like, and I forget what the proof is. What did you say?
100.8.
Probably smells like 100. Yeah, but again, it's well balanced. I don't get the pungent alcohol smell.
No. Yeah.
I really enjoy it, and I've been drinking this for 10 minutes now.
I like the nose on this a lot. If I was to give it a ranking, I'd give it a 32, but I'm not sure on what the scale is yet.
Well, I mean, from 1 to 35, which is good.
It's a 32, but I just don't know if it's a 35 or a 50 scale. It's a very very good on the nose.
Yeah. So again, the nose is good. I enjoy smelling this. It makes me feel, again, like I need to be outside with a cigar in the fall in the patio, just drinking one of these. That would be amazing for it. On the palate, definitely rye. You're right. It's a spicy taste, well balanced. I
wouldn't call it. It's not like spicy. It's definitely that like fresh cracked black pepper.
Yes, that's a great point.
And it's not very prominent.
Yeah. It's the right amount of spice.
Yeah, and it kind of hits you on the front and then
it
goes away.
Yeah, that's a good point. In the finish, you get the pepper taste for maybe 5 seconds, and then it dissipates, and I think that's a good thing. Especially if you don't like, if you don't like rye, like you. So
there's some like sweetness on the end and like some of that cereal kind of
the cereal. It's really
seemed
well
to
balanced.
come through on the finish.
Very well balanced, for being a 95% rye. Again, it's not overpowering because some of them can be pretty overpowering, the pepper and the spice.
Yeah.
And like it just stays with you. Like there's in some cases, like when it's a high rye, you drink it, the spice in your mouth, and you take another sip, and it actually burns you because like, oh shit, like this is the spice is really sticking to my tongue.
Yeah, for whatever reason, this 95% mash bill seems to be like the sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's like, I don't know why it would be.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the mix of corn or wheat at like lower amounts in the mash bills. Cause like we've tried some that are like, 65% rye and then like,
25 corn.
25 corn or whatever, and like those are typically not as well balanced.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like the struggle between the corn sweetness and the rye, that like throws it out of whack.
Yeah.
But
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's nice when the rye kind of like stands alone, and
I think so too.
You get those kind of like ginny, junipery kind of notes, and like,
yep,
yeah, it's really tasty.
Very good. I really enjoy this rye.
For a high rye from someone that doesn't like rye, this isn't horrible by any means. I'll still never forget when we did the piggyback 100% rye.
Yeah, like that one was
That's high.
more challenging than this is.
Yeah.
You don't need to say more challenging. You can just say more bad.
No, I mean because
This is more worse.
I actually did like the piggyback.
Oh, I enjoyed it too.
but it's
I thought it was
that's like a rye lover's.
yeah. That's
rye.
That's like cracking pepper onto your tongue.
Yeah,
directly.
it's not for
Yeah.
it's not for someone like Dan that's like a casual rye.
There's a lot of things that are not for
Adventurer.
someone like that.
That's fair. That's a very fair point.
This is dangerously good, and I say that because it's very easy to drink.
Yeah.
Until you told me it was like 100.5, I would have rated this at 90, 95 tops proof. It's easy to drink. The alcohol is very well balanced.
Yeah.
And the flavors are just so well balanced, and I enjoy rye. That's why.
I will say, like this one, like you guys said, it has a sweet note to it. Like it almost has like it's got corn in it.
Yeah. I think that's the
Yeah.
it's like that it's a little bit sweeter than like a single malt
Yeah.
is, I don't know if that's just it's got to be the rye.
Yeah.
But I wonder if do they have to say if they malted or not?
The rye. I
Well,
don't know.
you're almost always going to have malted rye in the mix because otherwise, or malted barley in the mix. And usually they will say if it's malted rye.
Okay.
Usually
I know like the malted barley is typically for
the enzymes,
the
to
enzymes
break
that help
down
break
the
down the grains,
starch.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've never tried malted rye versus unmalted rye to see if there's a
Yeah.
We've
I
had
know.
something with malted rye in it before, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
I've tried barley by itself, which is good.
Yeah, we've seen that. And what a sight to see.
That was a lot of barley, dude. I was drunk and starving. Like, terrible combination. Drunk, starving, next to a barrel of barley. Like 5 fistfuls of barley right there.
Like a horse.
Oh yeah, that was me all the way.
5 fistfuls of barley sounds like a
It's like a CD.
good band name.
Yeah, like a band or the album title of some band. 5
like a-
fistfuls.
A
of
local Irish punk band.
barley. That should be the title of an episode or something.
5 fistfuls of barley would be like a Volbeat album name.
There you go. Or an Iron Maiden one. Anthrax. That would be a good title for an Anthrax album. Yeah, dangerously good. I like this a lot. I wouldn't rate it as one of my favorite ryes out there, but it's nice. I like this. The balance is really, really nice.
All right, so what I always like to talk about then too on this. So what are some of your favorite ryes you'd pick over this, and where are their price points at?
Short grain, medium grain, long grain, brown, black.
No, I said it so you know that it's rye. When you say it, you can't tell if it's rye or rye.
Oh, I thought you meant rice. What are my favorite ryes? I think I said it right. Will it is just one of the most amazing.
That's roughly the same price point as this, isn't it? Right around
If you
60?
find it, yeah.
Well, it's a little bit more expensive. Well, it's
like
around 70, 75.
65, I think.
Unless it's
I don't
60.
think it's 75. I think it's like
I think-
60 or
yeah, I'll
65.
Is it?
Whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, I think retail is like 65 maybe.
Okay.
And again, it's hard to find. Sam always has it, but if you go to Benny's, you'll never find it.
Yeah, not typically.
Yeah. But will it, and of course E.H. Taylor. I mean, holy crap.
Yeah.
That is just so freaking good.
Taylor's got corn in it, doesn't it?
Will
They
it
put some corn.
rise? MSRP is 54, so it's cheaper than
54.
this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that's 111 proof.
Yeah.
Which Will It Rye does not taste like 1100. I mean, 111 proof.
Yeah, it's pretty smooth.
So I'll give you my top 5. I think E.H. Taylor, Will It, Angel's Envy Rye is one of my favorite whiskeys.
That'd be comparable price.
Yeah.
That is comparable price, yeah.
Yep.
It is one of my favorite whiskeys of all time. Elijah Craig Rye is really nice and decent and very easy to find
and really cheap.
and really cheap.
Well, not really cheap, but
$30.
Yeah, I mean 30. Yeah, 34,
around
I
there.
think. And then you cannot forget about Peerless Rye.
That's more
Holy
expensive.
crap. Peerless, that's at 85. That's
Yeah.
that's more expensive, but it is one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, I gotta give a shout out to the Smooth Ambler Founders Rye.
That's impossible to find.
It's so good.
That is good shit.
I'm like really struggling to like not drink it.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
Because I only have like half a bottle left.
That is really good
It's
stuff.
so good. I don't think I have a second one.
No.
And it's gone forever as far as I know. So yeah, I'm trying to drag that one out a little bit.
That's a shit.
But yeah, it's phenomenal. Even Dan was impressed with that one. So yeah, that one, will it, like Roberto said. This Blue Run Golden Rye that I have too is really good.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had it.
Like which one did we have? The High
We
Rye.
did the High Rye bourbon.
Yeah.
Which none of us were blown away by.
Yeah, no.
But the Golden Rye is phenomenal. It's really good. Which we might do an episode on that at some point. Before I kill that bottle.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
Yeah, Rye the
Rye
Lightning's
the
good
Lightning
too.
is so freaking good.
You're welcome for that.
Yeah, no, yeah. Dan got me a bottle, man.
Yeah.
One and done. That thing is gone too.
It's finished though. It's a little different.
Is it?
Yeah. Because where it's finished in like Madeira and something else.
Yeah, I
Casks.
forget. It is so good though. That was
Not
really
that
good.
like
ruins
ruins anything in any way, but
Is Willet Blacken or Blacken Willet? That's a rye.
That's a rye.
Yeah.
I liked Rye the Lightning because I have the black or the Black Index Willet.
Yeah,
And I didn't like that nearly as much as I liked Rye the Lightning.
the Willet one's really good too.
yeah. That was really.
But the Rye the Lightning is great.
Agreed.
I hope
Now I have a bottle.
I hope Rye the Lightning's going to be like a regular thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know if it was a one-time release, right?
It was.
They're
It was,
saying it is, but I hope they
At some point they'll come
keep
back.
that as
Yeah.
like
I hope
their-
everyone on YouTube just gets to watch that Roberto try and put his leg up on the barrel and then fail miserably, and then try and act all nonchalant about it not working out.
I was, I realized my manners were not very good if I did that, so I realized.
Was
real
it that, or
quick.
that your leg's just not long enough to reach it?
It's the second one. It's the latter. Anyway,
Well, while we're on the topic of ryes, what are you guys' thoughts on Canadian whiskey? Because typically Canadian whiskey's extremely high rye,
yeah,
with either I don't know if they actually use a lot of corn in
Yeah, I
Canadian
don't
whiskeys
know.
or not.
I don't
I
know.
think
That's
it's a
good
lot
one.
of barley to compensate for
for the corn.
lack of corn.
Yeah.
Or other grain.
Yeah.
But
So I haven't really tried a lot of Canadian whiskeys. I've tried some, and I have not really tried a lot since getting into whiskey. I've actually tried a lot of Canadian whiskey before getting into whiskey. So I think your judging abilities become a little different once you actually start learning about whiskeys.
yeah, I mean, like the only Canadian whiskeys I've had are like Canadian Club,
Yeah.
Crown Royal,
Yep.
and like
Yeah, and then Caribou that Sam gave us. to
oh
try.
yeah, the Canadian Blanton's, which is not Canadian
It was
Blanton's.
very interesting. I will say, I drank Crown Royal from like 18 to 30, and like regularly because that's
Yeah.
the only thing that we knew, and it was cheap, right? It's good whiskey. It's
Yeah.
good cheap whiskey,
Right.
and I mean, all my friends were like, "Oh shit, let's go get a bottle of Crown."
I mean, I liked Crown.
I liked it. Yeah, exactly.
Because like when I turned 21, Jack and Coke was my go-to, and then like I kind of got burnt out on that
Yeah.
pretty quickly. So then I tried to drink Scotch, did not like it.
Yeah.
Um,
And I love Scotch.
Then like I tried to drink Jameson and like couldn't really get into it.
I like Jameson too.
It's not bad, but it's whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's
but
not
then
great.
yeah, I had Crown Royal somewhere, and I was like, oh, this is actually like sippable and like
It's easy to drink. And
Decent,
It's
yeah.
it's a good blend. I think I think it's like 80 proof. It's not that. It's not.
No, it's it's low.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like
my
I think 80, 85. But I mean, I enjoyed Crown. But again, that was likely because when we were 18-year-old kids, that one, you were buying it with fake IDs, and that's you thought at the time that was a premium whiskey.
Because it came in a velvet bag.
Because it comes in a purple velvet bag. You just think like, shit, this is the best thing I've had.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my memory of Crown is that, going high end as a kid with fake IDs, think like, oh shit, I just bought a $40 bottle of whiskey.
Yeah. Well, I
Or
remember
35 or whatever it is.
I bought a bottle of the Whistle Pig 10
Oh yeah,
when we finished our like final architecture project.
nice.
And it's like an $80 bottle, so it was like by far the most expensive whiskey I'd ever bought at that point.
Yep.
And I really liked it, and I was like, oh, like, and I looked it up, and they're like in Vermont and stuff, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's really cool. Then I found out that they sourced all their grains from Canada, and I was like, this is just Canadian
Yeah, it's just
whiskey.
Canadian whiskey anyway.
Now I think that's not the case. I think they grow
Yeah.
everything on that farm in Vermont now, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I
at
think
one
they
point
do.
they were sourcing things from Canada.
I think they
which
do
is
now.
kinda
It's
funny,
all
but-
Vermont things.
Yeah.
Which is nice. But yeah, growing up drinking whiskey, you thought anything was good. It was like,
Yeah.
you're a 22-year-old kid in college. Well, I mean, no, I was 22, I was out of college, I think. Hopefully.
So Crown Royal is actually 64% corn, 32% rye, and
Okay.
4% malted barley.
Really?
That's actually a really nice mash bill.
That's interesting.
That is an interesting mash bill, but that's a nice
I think
mash bill.
I thought to be a Canadian whiskey, it had to be 51% rye.
I think,
Maybe it just has to contain Canadian
yeah,
rye.
I think if you're a Canadian whiskey, it can be anything as long as, just like American whiskey, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Interesting.
I think. I don't know. I think I read that in the book, in that encyclopedia thing we have.
Yeah.
It says for Canadian whiskey, it has to be aged a minimum of 3 years in its native country in wooden barrels no larger than 700 liters. In new, old, charred, or uncharred, it doesn't matter. The spirit also has to be mashed and distilled in Canada.
So yeah, so you can do
So
whatever the
there's
hell you want.
no content
Yeah.
requirements.
Yeah, you can do
Interesting.
whatever, just-
Okay.
Well, I mean, for whiskey, American whiskey, there's not.
Yeah, right. American whiskey doesn't have
It's
any.
very
either,
similar
but
to what American whiskey is.
I thought Canadian whiskey was closer to bourbon in terms of
Like the- yeah.
regulatory
I mean, they have
requirements, but
an age limit on their whiskey too. We don't really have that in.
yeah, no, we don't for American whiskey.
Yeah, here, there's no minimum whatsoever. So you can do 6 months and call it a whiskey.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
That's what light whiskey normally is.
Yeah.
Is it like
Yeah.
6 months? Wow.
Light whiskey is usually either used charred barrels or uncharred.
Any whiskey, as long as it touches a charred oak barrel,
That's
it
it.
could be for a day. It's all it needs to be for
Although
whiskey.
at that point you're
Yeah.
drinking White Dog.
Yeah,
Right.
but it just has to touch a new charred oak barrel to be called whiskey.
Well, I mean, White Dog is considered whiskey.
Pretty much, because it's distilled in the U.S. Yeah, yeah, that's a good point.
That's I think all
No,
White Dog is considered American whiskey.
They don't say whiskey on it at all.
Well, because they market it as White Dog.
But it's not. It's never touched a barrel. That's straight from the still.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But does it?
It does have
Whiskey's
to
got
go into a
whiskey's
barrel.
got to be in a new
barrel,
charred oak
right.
barrel.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
right.
American whiskey has to be. I mean, it can be whatever barrel.
A
It don't
new
have to be
oak
charred.
barrel
A new oak barrel. Yeah.
Yeah,
a new
yeah.
oak barrel.
doesn't have to be charred.
Right.
Yeah.
Dang.
But White Dog doesn't touch a barrel. White Dog straight from the still.
it's just.
Yeah.
it's just
So you're
true
right.
White
That
Dog.
is not American whiskey.
Of course, I'm right.
Yeah.
Good job, Dan.
Yeah, that's great. 1 point, one tick mark on the board. This is like one.
Jake, in editing, put a tick mark right
And we have 27
there on
million.
YouTube.
We have 27 million right there. Put it right there. I'm really enjoying this whiskey. I just poured my second glass. This is fun. I hope it's not my last in-person podcast. I don't think
Yes, we have some sad news.
Is it sad?
it is not sad
No.
at all for this.
Roberto's going to be moving to Texas. So we will be going on the whiskey trip.
Mm-hmm.
We decided tonight that we are going to do the show from Kentucky.
Yep.
So that we
All
can
the
get,
naysayers can go screw themselves.
so we can get the recordings in, namely Dan.
Naysayers. Namely Dan. Yeah.
So those might be the last in-person ones, unless you
Yeah.
pop up for visits.
Well,
Yeah,
it depends
I
on
mean,
how long it takes for your house to move too, right? You might be here for a little bit till that sells.
Yeah.
Or what's the
No, yeah. So, Lindsay's moving next week.
right after the bourbon trip?
Yeah. Like
The day after.
that same
Yeah.
week. I will stay here to close on the house, to move the house, to do everything. So I'll be here at least another 30 days actually. So that's a good point.
Oh,
So we may
you'll
do episodes
be
after.
good. Okay.
So maybe yeah.
So we're being premature on
That's like
kicking Roberto out of the show.
I mean, we can still kick him out early, can't we?
like I just got kicked out and being premature.
But no, you'll still be what the plan is for you to zoom in for every
I'll zoom
episode.
in. I'll zoom
Yeah.
into the podcast, just like a lot of peeps do these days. From
You got to
different parts
figure
of
out
the
how to
country.
do like a picture-in-picture with him in Zoom for the tube.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. We can ask
we'll figure
the
that out.
fourth dram guys. They do it all the time.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
I
Yeah,
think they just use the Zoom screen.
I think that's what they do. They just
Yeah.
record the Zoom screen, and they record the call, and then put that recording.
Right.
YouTube.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, it's sad to leave Illinois, moving back to Texas to be with family, but at the same time, I mean, shoot, we'll come back more than a couple times.
Yeah.
A year. We'll take trips to Barnstormers.
You'll have access to all kinds of Texas whiskey.
Well,
So
you're very close to really good whiskey.
It's illegal for us to
distilleries.
ship whiskey for him or from him to ship whiskey to us, so I don't think there's going to be any of that going on.
None
well,
of that's
the
gonna
good
happen.
news
None of
is
that's
you'll
gonna
be able to wait in line for the Garrison Brothers Rye when
yeah.
that comes out. So
I am.
I'm excited
looking
for
forward to going
that.
to Garrison. I'm looking forward to. We do have to go and do the Texas Trail,
yeah,
the Texas Whiskey Trail. We got to do that, and then actually we could stay in San Antonio and then just drive up. It's fine. It's 3.5 hours. Anyway, so news, more to come.
yeah.
But we'll keep this podcast going and we'll be here every now and then because I do want to keep going to Barnstormers. And
What's going to be difficult is for you to do your kick-ass reels down in Texas.
Yeah, Lindsay can record them and we'll
Yeah.
ship them over here.
Of our reels, what's the newest reel we have up right now, Roberto?
We have one that it's a recipe that a lot of my followers were asking for. Like so many of my followers were asking for.
The majority of Bourbon Matters followers are here just for Roberto.
Exactly.
They have a subculture of Roberto Bourbon Matters followers, and it's
Yeah.
mainly all there.
Well, it's the only reason why they tune in.
Yeah.
Some would call it a cult.
It's a cult.
I mean, it
Yes.
is a cult.
It's a cult. We worship Satan.
The
Wonder
PDL
why-
cult.
I wonder why he's moving back down to Texas, not too far from Waco.
We worship
Whiskey Gates.
Whiskey Gates. The reels are really nice. Go and check them out on Instagram. There's good recipes in there. We have a couple of recipes that just went up this week.
Yeah.
Mine is really good. I found it in Mexico and like in the Maya ruins. It was good.
You're
Like,
so
you had
cultured
to,
with
like-
Mexico history.
Yeah.
You had to perform a sacrifice to get access to the tribal chief.
Yeah, and I got a couple of fingers chopped off too. It's fine. They sacrificed them to the gods. Yeah, it'll be good. Oh man, what a good whiskey! This is my second.
If they
batch.
want to see that real Roberto, where can they see it at?
if they want.
Pop over to YouTube if you want to watch Roberto yawn for 30 seconds straight.
Holy crap! Between the whiskey and the lack of sleep. Yeah, go to our Instagram. We hit 500 followers last week, and even just today, we're already at 518, which is really quickly growing. So kudos to JHRHRHRHR.
Hurrah, hurrah, hurrah.
Hurrah, 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 our social media manager. Great accounts. I think it's really cool to go through the account and start seeing how some distilleries are interacting with us and distributors and stores. Gold Eagle is one of our best friends now on Instagram, which is good.
Yeah.
So follow it. Good content, good reels, good pictures, and you can go to. Well, did I say the handle? No, I didn't. It's at Bourbon Matters, at Bourbon Matters, and Facebook is the same handle. Similar content, just expanding it to different followers. We have a website that I think Dan still maintains.
It's updated as of today.
Perfect. bourbonmatterspodcast.com. And those are where you can find us, but you can also listen to us.
Yeah, you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Kindle, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts. You can also watch
Truth
us
Social.
on YouTube. We are not on True Social. We are not on CNN Plus.
Is anybody on Truth Social? Other than like 5 Trump family views? I don't know.
A Twitter does exist, but I don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Watch us on YouTube. All of our videos.
At some point.
I will not do a TikTok.
That's how you get rich, man.
That's how you get spied on by China.
That too. But I'd rather be rich and get spied on by China than poor and still get spied on by China.
It's a fair point.
Right?
But all of our reels are edited down versions of YouTube videos.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch Roberto's full recipe from Mexico, go to YouTube. And if you want to watch my cocktail recipes in full, you can watch them on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't contribute. I'm just here for the
Dan
good
doesn't
looks.
do anything, but it's okay.
Dan just drinks.
He researches.
He researches and he drinks. I want your job.
Dan's
How do I
gonna
get that?
end up being our Jamie. We'll be like, hey Dan, pull that up.
Yeah. He's also he's also still living under the bridge with a blue tarp.
That's true.
So you get good Wi-Fi there. Did you get the Wi-Fi net from Elon Musk?
Starlink, yeah.
Starlink?
Yep.
Dude, that's revolutionary. It's paying off for Dan. It's very nice, man. How's it? What shopping cart do you use? Home Depot, Target?
It's a Target. The plastic ones, they block out a little bit more rain.
Dude, those are legit
that's nice.
too. And they're not as heavy to push.
Yeah, they're easy to move. They're softer if you fall asleep in them than the wires. You don't get like the
That's a good point.
weird marks in your back when you fall asleep in them.
Good thinking.
That's good thinking, man.
They got the cup holder in them too, which is I appreciate.
They had like 2 cup holders. Yeah, I used Walmart, and that was a piece of shit. When I was homeless and unemployed for a couple of weeks, that was bad. I'm glad you got Target.
Yeah.
Maybe they can sponsor our podcast because we're talking about their shopping cart.
Yeah. I mean, I killed 3 people to get that one, but it was a good fight.
Fine, they don't have to know the full details.
Some of those guys are scrappy under that bridge.
Some of those
I don't
people-
doubt that at all.
Some of those people had it.
No one sees the forearm come until it's right in their face, though.
Some of those people had it coming. But anyway, it's fun to talk about murder.
Killing homeless people.
All right, well, we survived another rye episode. Hopefully, we'll get back to the Bourbon Trail and not the Rye Trail in a week.
Yeah, so next week is our Bourbon Trail preview. We'll probably drink something from one of the places we're going to visit.
That'll be fun.
Then the
We
following
should go all out and bring like a Pappy 10 and celebrate that we're going to the Bourbon Trail
tomorrow or next week.
next week. Yeah, I'll bring it.
We can do that.
Yeah.
I'll bring it. I got mine open.
You got yours open?
I got mine open too.
Yeah.
I kind of want to finish mine off.
Oh, all right.
Already?
Yeah.
Nice.
If you want to kill
Yeah,
a
I mean,
I'm not gonna
shit.
argue.
It's like, what else can I get out of you?
So yeah,
Depends on
so
how much you ask for.
Ooh, blind tasting.
next week. Oh God. Next week, Bourbon Trail preview. Week after that, we're going to be recording on the Bourbon Trail. Might do
I thought it was
that.
called the Kentucky Trail.
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky Trail. We might do that live if I can figure it out.
That would be really cool, like a YouTube live.
Yeah. So we'll update everybody on the
Yeah.
Instagram or next episode on how we're going to do that. So,
I like that.
all right.
Very cool, man.
Let's wrap
That
it
was
up.
fun. Cheers.
Cheers.